Very cool. Very
All
cool.
right, before we get to John Fuller and John, we're introducing our friend, the lovely and talented Chandrea Thomas. She'll be joining us every day at noon right here on News 11. Thanks for being here. Good to have you.
Well, thank you.
And John Fuller will have a perfect weather forecast for you.
That's right, John Fuller. Let's get to it. But I know the week sounds a little shaky, though.
A little shaky later in the week, but for you today, it's going to be spectacular.
Well, every time you post a picture to social media, it tells a story, but when you add video, text, and music, it becomes a what? Flipagram.
A flipagram, a new
Yes.
word that we have to learn now. I just got used to Instagram, now flipagram. In today's Tech Report, Rich DeMuro visits one of the most popular storytelling apps.
And first on News 11 at noon, Let's Go Blues. Game 6 is tonight at Scottrade Center between the Blues and the Dallas Stars, and the victory means the Blues will advance to the conference finals. News 11's Chris Renier is inside Scottrade with a preview. Well, Facebook is hoping its users will rise and shine with them in the morning. The social media site is teaming up with ad agency Digitas LBI to launch their very own live stream morning show called Rise and Shine. It will appear in news feeds and also have a designated Facebook page 3 to 5 days a week. The content will be owned by the ad agency, but so far there's no word on a launch date. A former St. Louis police officer is charged with first-degree murder after an officer-involved shooting in 2011.
Prosecutors say.
And downtown St. Louis will be busy tonight with both the Blues and the Cardinals games happening around the same time. And Metro says it's ready. They're adding extra MetroLink trains to get fans where they need to go. Amazon could soon be selling its own line of food. The online retailer is adding perishable foods to its private labeling division, and it could be available by the end of May or early next month. Selections include nuts, vitamins, spices, tea, coffee, and baby food, along with household items like diapers and detergents.
The Supreme Court is sending the Obamacare contraception case back to lower courts.
Justice unanimously decided not to rule on a challenge from religious nonprofit groups. The groups rejected the plan's requirement to provide free birth control. The High Court says it wants lower courts to work out a compromise. Now, this was the fourth time the Supreme Court heard a challenge to President Obama's Affordable Care Act and the second case challenging its contraception mandate.
Cool.
Caught on camera, a set of tires goes bouncing down Lindbergh near McDonald Boulevard during rush hour yesterday. Surveillance video from Angelo's Chicago Taste restaurant captures the whole thing on camera. You can see the tires behind the white tractor trailer. They smash through a light pole, go through a busy parking lot between two cars before breaking into the Boeing store window. One driver saw the tires go by her car and thought they fell from a plane.
It literally was coming from the air. I didn't see it fall from high in the air, but I did see it come to the point where it hit that sign. And so I look around the intersection looking for this truck or some sort of accident that would have just happened and sent flying pieces, but I didn't see anything of the sort.
Luckily, no one was hurt in the incident, and Hazelwood police are still investigating. Making a difference in the community, a new civilian review board is being set up in Ferguson, and now the city is looking for people to serve on that board. Back in April, the Ferguson City Council passed an ordinance to create a civilian oversight board for the Ferguson Police Department. The new board will have 9 members, and 6 sessions are being held to educate the public on the purpose of that board and to encourage involvement.
What I have learned in this process is that there is a segment of the city that feels they're ignored or they're targeted. We certainly heard all the stories of the predatory practices of the court system.
The next public meeting is set for Thursday night at 7 o'clock at the Ferguson Community Center. Jury selection in the murder for hire trial of Drew Peterson is set to start in Randolph County, Illinois. The former suburban Chicago police officer is serving a 38-year sentence in the death of his third wife. Now he's accused of plotting to kill the prosecutor who put him behind bars. Opening statements are scheduled for Monday. There's some more sports here. The Cardinals start a weekend series against the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight at Busch Stadium, and the Cardinals and Rockies wrapped up their 3-game series last night. It was 6-4 Rockies in the 4th inning when the Cardinals bats came alive for 6 runs in that inning. Bases loaded for Matt Carpenter, and he doubles off the wall, driving in 2 runs Then in the 8th inning, the Cards were up 10-7, and Carpenter piles it on, a 3-run blast in his 9th home run of the season. In the end, the Cardinals beat the Rockies 13-7, and Carpenter went 3 for 5 with 2 runs and 6 RBIs. Michael Wacha went just 4 innings, allowing 6 earned runs. There is growing suspicion that an act of terrorism may have brought down a missing Egyptian airliner with 66 people on board.
Now, the search for the jet continues in the Mediterranean Sea as families of those on board, as well as U.S. officials, are anxiously waiting for answers. Fox's Doug Luzader has the story from Washington.
There's a shakeup at the San Francisco Police Department following months of scandal. San Francisco's police chief suddenly steps down after another fatal shooting. A 27-year-old black woman was killed by a police sergeant yesterday, and it's the 3rd fatal shooting involving a San Francisco police officer since December. An interim police chief has already been named.
Coming up on Fox 2 News at 11, a drizzly way to start the day, but it could be worse.
And some folks are dealing with the rain, but that's causing all types of problems, including a hydroplaning school bus full of students. So, are you looking to lose some weight? Well, make sure you eat your breakfast under some bright lights. According to a new study, bright lights during breakfast can lower the effect of insulin. Too much insulin in the body can actually lead to weight gain, and researchers say it's unclear how light affects metabolism, but they add the study could help them understand how environmental factors affect your health.
But if there's extra bright light, they can see that extra donut I'm eating.
I mean, you can see it.
I don't want to see that. I don't want that to
It
happen.
could make it more appealing.
When Fox 2 News continues.